Hi, van life people. What the hell? Um, you guys seem to love this. I don't know what it is that's fascinating about it to you exactly, but if you wanted to ask me any questions about how long I've been, like 3 years at this, I bought a caravan originally. My car broke down and it was getting old or whatever. I scrapped it and bought this Dodge Caravan and lived in that for 6 or 8 months. uh, I bought that and I lived in my apartment still. And at that time, I still had like my shop inside my apartment. So I was able to kind of make it not nice, but I made it livable. And and then purged all my possessions. Mostly, I went to like a rooming house. I gave away everything to friends and family. And then I went to a rooming house and just put everything on the lawn and went inside and told them first come first serve. And I went back the next day. It was all gone. They loved it. So um, and then I moved off into the caravan, saved up a few dollars while I was living in that because I didn't have to pay rent, right? Um, so anyway, and then found and bought this. I was looking for something bigger. To be quite honest, I'm still looking for something bigger. I'm gonna sell this over the summer soon. Um, anyway, bought this. I had to cut the roof off of it, and it didn't have that high rise roof on it when I bought it. I did all that. I had to. I just sawzalled it and drove to the scrapyard. I left it like four little contact points. Drove to the scrapyard, cut the contacts on the back, and I put a board in to hold the roof up. And then I cut the contacts on the front and put the board in to hold the roof up. And then I just got in the middle and I stood up, flipped it into the dumpster, and drove it like a convertible down the highway out to the country where I found this roof. And I went out into this guy's field, and he had the identical van he's got parked in the field, and it just had this roof sitting on top of it, but it wasn't attached. It was never installed. It was just sitting there. So I backed this van up to that one, and I took those same boards and I made like a bridge across the two, and me and my buddy lifted it up onto the bridge and slid it over onto this van, and then pulled the boards out, and I put a couple screws in it and got out of the field, screwed it all on, and then fiberglassed it. I should have fiberglassed it because it was installed a couple times, so it had drill holes everywhere. And I should have fiberglassed it first and then screwed it. It would have made a nicer job. But I thought, oh, if I can hide the screws, but that was stupid of me because it didn't end up hiding the screws. Now I got bubbled. Um, Such is life. But yeah, anyway, threw it all together. My mechanic at the time, it needed like 4 days work. I think less, 3 days work. Took him 3 months having this van and sitting. And anyway, so I threw my whole schedule off on getting moved into this. I kind of rushed. I wanted to do so much more to the inside before I lived in it, right? And I wanted to do a nicer job on all that. See the little routed edge, and there's a little routed edge here, but I wanted to have that same routed edge all up or all around here. I still could with my little shaper tool or whatever, but where I put in the top shelf up there on the back with the side pieces and everything on it, there's just too much installed. I'd never get it all. And I could do it to fade it out, but it's fine the way it is. I'm going to put a high gloss on it before I sell it so that it's all prettied up. Right now, it's just primer. Whatever. Works for me. Um, pretty simple life. I miss an oven. Being a cook and a bit of a, I like alchemy, plants and stuff. I like to cook down the essence of plants and stuff like this. Make different things, but can't really do that. We probably could do that, but it's messy and you need to have running water and things like this. Like it's just not really feasible in here because a lot of that stuff's done with a slow cooker, not an oven. Uh, Decarbonizing is done in an oven, but anyway, I could do that in a Dutch oven. I've been looking at those, but with the propane stove, the Dutch oven would be a trick. It would take a long time for me to get good at that. I'd burn a lot of stuff. Anyway, so I haven't bought it yet. But I was thinking about buying a cast iron pot. I do all my cooking in cast. Um, so then I got looking at the Dutch oven. It is a cast iron pot, and it's the Dutch oven, and it's a lot of things because you can even use the cover as a frying pan or whatever. Like there's, they're pretty versatile. But but I'm gonna go bigger. Not much. Just the camper trailer, RV, not trailer, Winnebago. Uh, the small one. This will just be a little bigger than this. So this is 1989. She's almost an antique and a classic. Um, but it's an amazing condition. Underneath, like the frame and all that, it's hardly ever seen winters. The rot was up here on the up atop the windshield. That's where the main rot was from sitting parked. It probably had leaves sitting on the roof or something. Um, I had to put a new windshield gasket and stuff in it when I got it. But anyhow, it that's all pretty minor, but it is in amazing shape. It needs the interior could use a redo. Uh, I would have liked to have. I was going to do that white stuff that white paneling that you see in all the kitchens nowadays and stuff. A lot of industrial bathrooms and whatnot. Just it would brighten it right up, and I've worked with that stuff a lot, so I know what it's like, and it's waterproof. It's totally waterproof. Just whatever's behind it at the floor and seams. I guess that's the only place you really gotta make sure that it wouldn't be waterproof in here because I wouldn't be bringing my baseboard up into behind it to make a flashing. You'd have to put a metal baseboard in first, and then you put it on top of the metal baseboard, and then everything runs down, and you could actually pressure wash these kitchens that I've done a bunch, and bathrooms and stuff. Anyhow, I did want to do all that, but like I said, the mechanic being months to do a couple of weeks work. I figured he'd be slow. He's really affordable. I figured he'd be a month. I never figured he'd be 3 months. Anyways, so then the old caravan I was living in, the inspection and the registration and everything ran out on it, and I had to get it to the scrapyard, and I have to drive it there, or you don't get your couple $100 out of it if you don't drive it in. But if you can drive it in, they guarantee a couple $100 and maybe more. Um, and then so I didn't want to wait, park it in the woods or whatever, and then I'd have to get it towed, and then I'd lose everything. So I had to, as soon as I got this, I had to immediately just move into it as quickly as possible. I had days, and the inspection, insurance, and everything was already run out on the caravan. Not to mention that it just was right at the end of its life. It was all it could do to make it to the scrapyard or whatever. You know, it was just wobbling and rocking and going. Because I'd living in the woods. I was way out in the fucking woods, man. I was driving down this little trail every day to get to where I'd sleep, and then drive back out, go to work, buy groceries, whatever I needed, go back in. A lot of times, if I was working, I'd stay here, there, everywhere around. But then if I, I'd be kept going into the woods, and I'd stay there for days at a time. Anyhow, so it was sketchy, but it's been an adventure. I started in the Maritimes, and I'm in Ontario right now. I work part time at a couple different places, but just mainly part time at the Home Depot, and which is going to work out perfectly for me because when I upgrade, I'm going to look at grabbing my son and taking him with me. But we'll see. But when I upgrade, I'll be able to transfer, just apply for a job wherever in Canada, you know what I mean, and wherever I get accepted. Just drive there and move there, and that way, I could do a year there, and then so just kind of work my way west, doing that, and if I'm just part time jobs everywhere, then um, then I can spend time exploring where I'm living, and I don't need much more than to work, 3-4 days a week, and I'm good to go. So I'm really good to go with 4 days. So 3 days a week, and I'm really good to go. So the rest of my time, I can explore and look around, jump on my bicycle, and just go walk around, see what there is to see. Time is just a melody or a memory. Time is a memory, and so wow, what a profound statement. Uh, People talk about time travel and all that stuff, and going forward in time and going backwards in time, but backwards in time is just a memory. Time isn't fluid. This thing. It's not this thing that you can travel and run around through. And forward and the future is just an imagination, and the past is just a memory. All right. Jack Johnson's smart dude. Um, but anyway, it's kind of my plan, I guess. And then owning the RV, I'm gonna watch the economy, see how it's going. Eventually, I'll flip a house. Uh, I keep working on my credit and stuff. I keep doing things to tweak it up. Um, yeah, flip a house. I might do that before I travel, but I'd have to take a full time job. That's the thing, and do it for a year, and then though that's kind of what I'm doing, also right now, in order to get the upgrade on the van, and then I'll sell this to get that money that I've invested into the new van back. Hopefully, then some, because this is an antique. It's worth quite a bit of money as far as when I was looking on the internet. Um, get that money back, uh, so I can reinvest it into whatever. Uh, I've been investing in the stock market a lot, and a lot into dividend stocks, so that I get pays all the time, right? Um, so far, I just small, but whatever. it's a thought, it's a dream. And then if I could flip a house, then get the piece of land, I'd like to start a commune kind of thing on a on a little spot and make a little farm. And there's a thing called the Woofer Society, where you can go live on people's farms, and you kind of like, you're an indentured servant. So you go live there and work and whatever, and they provide you with housing and teach you how to work on their farm, and then then you know how to farm or whatever. And you get a place to live, and you don't have to live in this society. It's a kind of a bit of a way out, but it's also a bit of indentured servitude. Except there's no contract to it. That when you to each farm, there's background checks and shit like that. But then when you go to the farm, you can leave the next day if you don't get along with the guy, or the guy can kick you out the next day, or if you know what I mean. It's not. You don't actually sign to be a slave like before. So I'd open up to the woofers, and but then as you know, if you've looked at any of my non-van videos, I have my Flat Earth Society. We're all nuts as far as you guys are concerned, but whatever. Anyway, any other questions you might want to know about, let me know. God bless. Have a good day.